Hey, what's going on, everyone? Vega here for SerpentX Tech. Welcome back to another episode of Caffeine Crypto, where I welcome you to join me with your favorite caffeinated beverage of choice as we go over this week's crypto news, mining, tech, stuff, holiday stuff, banter, whatever. You shop any good Black Friday deals? Let me know. Tell me what you found, what you got, what you scored. You know, I do miss the olden days where grandmas, aunties, and uncles would fight to get their loved ones the item they wanted. Unfortunately, they don't do that anymore. It's all online. But there are some good deals out there still. Got Cyber Monday coming up. I hope you get what you need for your family, your friends, whatever you need to do. But right now, Bitcoin's sitting around 91K. It's up. We did hold that 80K level we were talking about last week. It's a little bit chilly, hence the reason why I'm wearing a hoodie and drinking some nice hot coffee. But we did, most importantly, hold that 80K level. That was a big concern of mine. We're going to look at the charts. We're going to go over some news, as we normally do. If you're new to Caffeine and Crypto, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. And for all my vets, I appreciate every single one of you. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I really do. What did you do for Thanksgiving? What was your favorite dish, so to speak, that you got? And did you get the itis, which is where you pass out after you eat a good, hearty Thanksgiving dinner? Watching some football or whatever you like to watch during Thanksgiving. And we'll talk football towards the end. But right now, continuing on, we only have a few coins that are in the greens or in the deep greens. Nothing too spectacular. I don't even know what M is. What is M? Meme core. Okay. All right. Anyways. But everything else is in the red. I mean, we did push up. We were around 92K, I believe, either Thursday or Friday. And then we pulled back a little bit. But still, Ethereum over 3K, XRP over $2, Bitcoin over 90, right? We got Doge almost at 15 cents. We got Solana in the 130. I'd rather see it towards the 170 mark, to be honest. But still, nonetheless, here we are. You can see how far we have fallen since that short-term all-time high. Well, the all-time high for Bitcoin, period. But we're kind of recovering. We're going to have some serious resistance along the way. It seems like 92K, a lot of people, especially the bears, are taking advantage of that. So right now the range kind of sits between 80 and 92. And you could play that range if you wanted to. Just be careful, especially if you're using leverage. But I feel like something's going to pop off here. If we zoom out, usually when we have two dots of green, we're starting our move upwards, our leg upwards. But how long would that leg last? I don't know. Because I kind of feel like there's some manipulation. Oh, sorry. Don't mean to have the ring notification go off in your ear. Let me make sure that's not anybody at my house. Nope. At the parents. But yeah. So I feel like there's some manipulation going on. Like, basically, the market or whoever's got the money to do this, to start that sell, to start that push upwards or push downwards, is not ready for Bitcoin to march to a new all-time high. Whether it's above 126K, whether it's 150, 200K, they're not ready. The companies and all the organizations that are still saying that they want to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible and have a strategy to do so are just not ready for that rocket to take off yet. We're still on the launch pad accumulating. Now, technically, if you're an OG, we launched. We're in the upper atmosphere. We're not even in the atmosphere, actually. We're outside in space. We're orbiting Earth. They took profits. Satoshi era type assets took profits. Good for them. Maybe they bought back in because they went from nothing to $9 billion or nothing to a couple mil, whatever. And now they're reinvesting, whether that's in gold, real estate, maybe buying back into crypto because they sold at 120 or 118, but then they buying back in at 88, 89, 90K. Still, I'm dollar cost averaging. My mom's dollar cost averaging. Not that is financial advice, but keep accumulating because others are accumulating at the same time. Want to go around the room real quick, say a quick good morning and thank you to everybody. Of course you want me to sign in. Hang on one second. God bless America, CoinDesk. I don't want to sign in just to read the freaking news article. Making me do stuff I don't want to do. Hang on one second, guys. All right, there we go. So we got Slothman, Squirrel Masters, Fiddler, Rudd, all dropping by, chatting with one another. Hobbyist Miner is here. Yeah, at the Hobbyist Miner. Where's he at? There he is. Good morning, Hobbyist Miner. Hope you're doing well. Hope the shed's rocking and doing good. Let's see here. We got 2.8% drop frames. Interesting. It's definitely not anything I'm aware of that could be the issue. But anyways, Squirrel Masters, yeah, we got all that. Got all that. Crypto Mikkel stopping by as well. Appreciate you. Kasai, why is it very profitable to sell old seed phrases through the seed? That is a junk scam thing. You know what? Is the rotten seed thing still going on? Where people are dropping their seed phrases, acting like they need help and expecting the content creator or somebody to put it in their wallet. I haven't seen it as much, but Kazi, if you're a bot, please take that somewhere else. If you're not a bot and you think it's legit, I'm not going to look into the project right now. But yeah, just be careful with stuff like that, guys. 4 of those calls came into 911 this weekend so far. Ooh, that sounds like an interesting story. Some of these new crypto scams going around here is crazy. Oh, yeah. We actually, I think, I'm not sure if I have a news article or not, but yeah, there's been a lot of crypto scams going on. Calling stores, recording employees' voices, then calling back to AI telling them to take money from the safe to buy BTC and send it. Yeah, I saw a news article on that. You got to be careful. Definitely got to be careful. And as I always mention, please be careful how much you expose yourself or how much you advise others, especially online, that you own XYZ, because you're going to be a target. Okay? Moving on. US Bitcoin ETF flows turned positive after 6 days of outflows. I think we showed this last week, right? This is November 7th. So I'm not sure why it's showing me an old article. I'm pretty sure I chose a different article, but whatever. Bitcoin minus rally mode after Thanksgiving has December Fed rates get locked in. Which, by the way, what is the Fed rate cut probability? Fed watch. Let's see what it went up to. Okay. All right. Okay. The chance is higher. The chance is higher that we might have a Fed rate cut. Now, normally we're looking for a decent amount of inflows, Fed rate cut, and retail getting back into the game. Now, it is the holidays, so maybe a lot of the youth or a lot of people in general are going to get money instead of gifts for Christmas, and they're going to want to put that in towards crypto, right? We just had Thanksgiving dinner. Maybe we were educating some of our family members, our friends, and now they want to get some of that exposure. That's certainly possible. I'm hoping, as you can tell from the title of this video, that December will be a green month, because we were supposed to have a green October. That didn't work out. We were supposed to have a green November. That didn't work out. Matter of fact, let's switch over to the monthly. And I'm really hoping for a green December. You can see how deep this red has been for November. November and October has not been good. If we measure this fall, matter of fact, you know, that is 30%, 36, 35% drop. I'm hoping December will have us, you know, like a small recovery. Let's say, for example, here we are, and we kind of push up more towards that 100K mark is what I'm looking for. We shall see if that actually happens, but I'm really hoping for a green December. It's moving into January, February, but expect a pullback in 2026. At least at the end of Q1 2026, okay? Because that's just normally what happens. Or verifying your browser. Bitcoin in modest rally mode after Thanksgiving as December Fed rate cuts get locked in. Continuing to rally and come along sharp rise in odds of the Federal Reserve rate cut will happen in December. Rose to basically around 93 on Thanksgiving, Bitcoin. At press time, Bitcoin is pulled back to 92.5, still up 2% over the past 24 hours, is now headed about 50% since a panicky bottom at 80K. The biggest concern was not being able to hold that 80K. We have sustained that. Hopefully, we built up some more foundation below the 90K area. So that way when we touch it, we immediately bounce back up. That would be great. Bitcoin's reversal of fortune came alongside a massive 180-degree turn in the investor expectations for a Fed rate cut in early December. A series of hawkish Fed speakers had previously whittled the odds of the Fed easing to just about 30% earlier this month, but at the central bank, as the central bank doves appear to have retaken control of the narrative, those odds shot back up to 89%. Crypto mining stocks are outpacing today's rally. I guess this was Thursday, with CleanSpark about 2.5%, Bitfarms 11%, Riot Platforms 9%. We were talking about some of these mining organizations getting some steam in behind them. Oh, Techman showed up. Oh, Rudd Puts, a member of the channel for 33 months. By the way, you can join the channel. Those veterans of the channel are aware that I'm going through some stuff on the personal side, and that's why I haven't been publishing content as often as I used to, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I will hope by the turn of the new year that Uncle's a little bit more stabilized. My dad's a little bit more doing much better as he's progressing, as they both are progressing through their cancer, and that I can get back to making content. I don't want to promise every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday as I have done in the past, but try to get something for you guys. So I appreciate your patience. And if you want to support the channel, however you would, even if it's just a like, even if you don't subscribe, please come and check out the videos when they do get published, and that will be greatly appreciated. If it could help one person, that's all I care about, wherever you are in the world. Matter of fact, I've been getting a lot of good information of people regarding the Aorus 97 EXT, where I did do the liquid metal and replace the thermal gel with 1.25 millimeter thermal pads. People asking questions about that. How's it going? What's going on? And matter of fact, if we load up hardware info, and I'm sorry to switch the subject here, this baby's been rocking and rolling. It is cold or cool in here since I'm wearing a hoodie. But man, this 97 EXT has been absolutely stellar. Let's get hardware info loaded up, and I'll show you that in here in a minute. But $6.6 trillion Fed flip predicted to trigger massive Bitcoin price. So the Fed flip, or the change in the chances that the Fed rate might be cut, may cause a nice little run. I mean, we can obviously see it picking up now if we switch back over to the daily, right? Because people are expecting that, right? So last Sunday, after I left you last Saturday, we were down, right? We did hit 80K, but we needed to hold that level as we spoke. And then we started to rally back up. We only rallied up over this past week. If we go from, let's go from Saturday low, not Friday low, to the recent high, 11. And now we're sitting about 8.7% above where we started the week. And we could push up even higher as things turn bullish as we move into December, right? Because this is the first week of December coming up. So we'll see how things pan out. And here's hardware info now. You can see, you know, everything is running cool. And even when I'm gaming now, I remember the hotspot, the GPU hotspot on this thing could hit 98. And then the memory hotspot, the memory junction temperature would hit 100 or 99. And I did a whole video on this. If you want to check that out, it should be on the channel. Look up the 97 EXT when you're searching on the channel. There is a magnifying glass to which you could search. It did improve thermals. It did improve thermals. Now, obviously, with liquid metal, you need to make sure, one, I mean, you could use it on copper. It's just going to, you got to put you got to put it on, wait a couple weeks or a month. It's going to kind of like get sucked into the copper and then put another layer on to really optimize it. But you don't want to use it on aluminum, and I prefer nickel-plated copper, which is exactly what this Aorus GPU has. So it's running perfectly good, and it's been running stable for quite some time. I didn't replace the thermal gel on the chokes or the MOSFETs, but I did just replace it for just the memory and then liquid metal on the GPU. Of course, using the nail polish, so to speak, the Sally nail polish to protect the little SMDs around the GPU core inside that little box. Which is just good for shorts. You could use the thermal grizzly one, whichever one you prefer, but I showed you how to use the specific nail polish that helps out when applying liquid metal. Moving back to crypto, because that's what you're here for, but you love tech too. Don't lie. Don't lie to me. You love tech too. You get off on that shit. Anyways, moving on. Don't make that face. Don't make that face. I see it. The Bitcoin price is up from the 2024 lows of just over 40,000, limped to an all-time high of 126 in October. I wouldn't say limped, but whatever. Before falling sharply as fears of Bitcoin price crash nightmare emerge. Now an eagle-eye trader spot a quiet China signal that just started flashing. Some of the most bullish Bitcoin and crypto speculators have said they expect December Federal Reserve bombshell to power the Bitcoin price boom. Quantitative tightening, this is a quote here, I believe, from Kathy Wood. Quantitative tightening, we think, will end December 1st. That's a de facto easing. And the Fed quantitative tightening program, which began in 2022, has reduced the Fed's balance sheets to 6.6 trillion from around 9 trillion at its peak, putting the pressure on risk assets such as Bitcoin and Fed to the Fed tries to suck liquidity from the system. Wood pointed out that easing liquidity conditions when she reaffirms ARK's long-term 1.5 million Bitcoin price prediction, right? Everybody still got that 1.5, 2 million price prediction, whatever. I'm still shooting short-term, like 150, 175 Bitcoin. Like, that would be stellar. I know some of you maybe not have been as in the crypto scene as long, but you do have a decent bag, and you just want to see that bag, recoup some nice returns for you. Tom Lee, the chair of crypto investment company Bitmine Emergent Technologies and the chief investment officer for FedStrat Capital, told CNBC that they expect a downward Bitcoin price pressure to soon end following the sell-off that began in mid-October. Again, a lot of Satoshi error wallets making some moves. Some people were making some moves in the business or private sector, and that also caused some fear, which, matter of fact, if we go over to the Fear and Greed Index, let's see where it's sitting at right now. We're actually at 20. We know the low, I think, was 10, I want to say here. Yeah, 10, right? And that was on the 21st. It's starting to pick up, right? I don't think we're going to go into extreme greed anytime soon, but it's starting to pick up. That positivity starting to come back, and that's what we want to see, because that's when retail gets involved. When we look at prior corrections, though, even Bitcoin in the last few years, each of which had recovered, the rise from the low was faster than the drop to the bottom, right? So Bitcoin, in summary, Bitcoin can, like that, go up, and then you're like, oh, I should have got in. So that's why some of the people out there, even though I can't speak for them if it's financial advice or not, would say dollar cost average, right? Because you're just, you're paying your bills, you get an extra 20 here, you get an extra 50 here, extra 10 there, whatever, right? It's a cup of coffee, whatever. Whether it's the Cash App, Coinbase, whatever you got, you're just buying a little bit of Bitcoin over time, kind of adding to that bag. The recovery from the all-time highs will be faster than the decline. That's what happened in every crypto decline, because what you have is all the spooled up energy. People are sitting and waiting for their panic selling for sellers, but the buyers are being patient. That's what will happen. And I did see, if we look at the volume, it kind of feels like look at the sell volume and how much it spiked recently compared to the buy volume. And if we zoom out really, really far, like, this is nothing. What the volume that we're having right now is nothing compared to the past, but also the price of Bitcoin has increased. And this is measuring the amount of Bitcoin against the fiat dollar that's transferring hands or being traded in the 24-hour time frame. So in summary, things should get better. In summary. Let me check the chat here real quick. Tech Man, appreciate you stopping by. What's up, crypto peeps? Everybody talking to Hobbyist. Is Hobbyist still here? Hobbyist, you still around? Automatic Beats, what's up, brother? Everybody chatting to each other. SerpentX Tech. When cold mine Raven or Doge with a L3, it heat up your house great. Yeah, I think a lot of those Doge miners, are they still doing pretty good on the profitability? Let's go to ASIC miner value real quick. Let's see how the Doge miners are doing on profitability right now. Yeah, so the L11, 20, I mean, it's not as high as it was during the craziness, but I mean, still not bad, right? How's the DG home doing? DG home, DG1 home. Where am I missing it? Oh, show more. Okay. Yeah, not so much. $1.30 a day, not so much. But if you got like a, what did you say, L3 plus plus? Let's see here. L3 plus plus. All right, 39 cents a day, and you're heating your house, and you're getting ore. Win-win. Mine Raven or Doge with an L3 plus plus, and heat your house at the same time. That's a win-win. I like that. I like that. We'll take a look at some of the more mining profitability updates here in a minute. Michael Saylor, MicroStrategy moves billions into Bitcoin as usual, right? It's now the world's leading Bitcoin treasury company that holds basically 650,000 Bitcoin worth about 58 billion. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. And we're going to see more and more companies try to add to that and try to gain more of that Bitcoin position. Jim Kanos, sounds like Thanos, has confirmed shorting MSTR position. So they're trying to sell MicroStrategy, or short MicroStrategy. Next to Wall Street giant JP Morgan warned that leading equity indices, including Morgan Stanley Capital International US Index, could delist strategy due to its crypto treasury model. So the aggressive buying strategy of MicroStrategy could, in fact, get it delisted or in trouble with some of the others. Now, of course, MicroStrategy posted this cool little picture. If you want to check that out, I'll drop it in the link. But it's like going through 21 rules of Bitcoin. With the first one, I'm dropping in the live chat now. It says the stream is disconnecting or like dropping frames. Let me know if you guys are having trouble hearing me. The quality of the video is not going to be all that great, but the most important thing is, can you hear me? Those who understand buy Bitcoin, those who don't criticize it. Number 2, everyone against Bitcoin before they are for it. We saw a lot of that. You will never, number 3, you will never be done learning about Bitcoin. There's a lot of stuff to learn about Bitcoin. You should challenge yourself to read the white paper, but whatever. 4, Bitcoin is powered by chaos. 5, Bitcoin is the only game in the casino that we can all win, which is true. And remember, last week we talked about another user, right, through the doctor's pool, that was able to hit a Bitcoin block with around 10 terahash or maybe around 10 terahash of hash rate power. When Bitcoin fell to its short-term low or its recent low of around 80K, I suspected that some of the mining operations, mid-scale, maybe not the large-scale operation, but mid-scale operations, 5 megawatt, 3 megawatt facility, whatever it might be, depending on the location and cost to operate, may turn their systems off just temporarily, as they adjust some things or get ready for or whatever, because the price has fallen so far. And when that does, you're going to have these dips in network hash rate and difficulty, allowing you with your smaller scale miners to actually hit a Bitcoin block. So I'm not sure if it's you, and I don't want you to announce if it was you, but congratulations. And still, keep trying to solo mine Bitcoin. It's only 5 watts, 10 watts, 20 watts, 100 watts. Small scale miners. You're not having to run this large machine that makes a lot of noise, like you're running an air tunnel in your house, or air tunnel in your house, but still have a chance at hitting a Bitcoin block. A very, 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 very slim chance, but a chance nonetheless. Now, I'm not saying bet the farm and go get a bunch of these. There's a better strategy if you're going to spend that much money, but just having a few miners on that heat the house and get you a chance of hitting a Bitcoin block, it's your chances are greater than winning the lottery, unfortunately. But yeah. Why gold is winning over Bitcoin? Oh, you mother... Coindesk, what are you doing to me? There you go. Why gold is winning over Bitcoin in 2025? Liquidity, trade, trust. I've been seeing a lot of attention towards gold. I would be interested from you, the viewer. Are you accumulating gold? Are you expanding upon your gold position? Don't forget, I will be transferring or redirecting you guys over to Red Panda Mining, who goes live at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But going back to this, are you gaining gold exposure? Don't say how much you got, but like, I got some gold, just a little bit, not a lot. I have some gold ETFs, right? I'm trading in that. So even though you're a Bitcoinist and you are a proponent of the crypto industry because you believe what crypto and blockchain can do for the world, are you still dabbling in the worldly assets? Worldly assets, like this is religious. But like, gold, real estate. Do you own some cars that you know are going to appreciate in value? Stuff like that. Like, are you diversifying yourself is the main question that I am asking. Softman said short gold. Short gold. Well, I don't know. Gold is always pretty. And if you ever held gold in front of you or in front of somebody else, like they get drawn to it. Personally, like the wife doesn't like gold. She's allergic to it. So I got to get her white gold. But gold is a very pretty color. My rims are gold. I think they look good on like, some RPF ones or some TEs. You know what I mean? Depending on the color of your car, whether it's, like a silver or white, maybe a black. But yeah, gold, the mineral that people mine from the earth and then turn into bars, jewelry, whatever, is still very sought after. So while Bitcoin is considered a digital gold, it's still nice to have a little bit of actual gold um, to, just supplement. Not that I think that the world's going to come to an end and all the internet's going to be gone, and then we have to use, like, we have to go back to bartering. Like, I'll trade you my chickens for some of your milk or whatever. But still, it's good. It's good to have. Gold has outperformed Bitcoin since the launch of the spot Bitcoin ETF, rising 58% as Bitcoin fell 12%. I think that's going to change in the future. I'm just curious what you guys are doing. I know a lot of you will be like, ugh, gold? No. But yeah, gold's been doing pretty good. Mark Connor says Bitcoin remains too young for institutional trust, while gold continues to benefit from the established infrastructure and trade use. Bitcoin's recent slump reflects a global liquidity squeeze, not sentiment, with Connors pointing out to the U.S. Treasury spending delays as a key factor. But yeah, if we go to gold over here, you can see how it's, risen. Like, this is on the daily, guys. So if I go back to this, right, you can see how Bitcoin slumped while gold has, there was a little bit of a dip, but then it easily recovered and climbed back up. Now, it's not at its all-time high of around 43.85, but still quite and again, you can gain exposure. You don't have to own actual gold, because then you're like, I can't even spend this 1 ounce bar. Like, I would have to, like, cut it and machine it and do little chunks if I wanted to spend it with the bartender or the laundromat or whatever, because we don't have electricity and the internet's gone for some reason. I'm not saying that's gonna happen. I'm just saying, like, that's like, what else would you spend it on is my question. I guess you would just sell it back to the market. I don't know. I'm not a gold and financial expert, so you guys will have to educate me. But I still accumulated a little bit of gold just to have gold coins, little gold bars, just to have some diversity. But I guess Bitcoin is still young. I mean, to us, Bitcoin's been around for a very, very long time. But a long time to us is most of our youth and growing old life. But 2008 to 2025 is nowhere near as long as gold. Gold has been around since the olden days. I mean, you can see how far Egypt pushed it with that trade in the Romans, and even earlier days with Friar Tuck or Robin Hood, which I think is a fictional character, but based on a true story. I don't know. Anyways, gold is still going to be a asset whether we like it or not. I'm just wondering if the crypto people are accumulating gold along with Bitcoin. That's all. Bitcoin's price drop tied to liquidity, not sentiment. The gap in performance between Bitcoin and gold has widened in recent months. Bitcoin is down over 30% since its July peak. Gold, by contrast, has posted steady gains, climbing about 4,100 per ounce. Connors doesn't attribute that to a shift in sentiment alone. Instead, the points to a broader liquidity squeeze driven by the U.S. fiscal policy. When the Treasury isn't spending, there's less money in the system, and Bitcoin is hypersensitive to liquidity because of the leverage structure, especially, I'm sorry, guys, especially in Asia. We are in the same water table, says Connors. When the U.S. stops spending, it affects capital flows globally. The shutdown may have ended, but the Treasury hasn't fully restarted spending at scale. And obviously that had an impact. Which, by the way, did anybody travel? Going back to the holiday talk. I know I'm all over the place. Going back to the holiday talk, did anybody travel? Do you guys fly? Do you have any issues flying? Were there any problems? Were there any delays? I'm interested to know. I know the FAA is kind of like understaffed, depending on the city or place you're at. But obviously, shipping delays too. Like, UPS had that plane crash that caused some scares. It probably did some reshuffling of the shipping. So anything you ordered or anything that you any travel plans that you had that were delayed because of XYZ, I'm curious if you guys were affected. I'll check the live chat here in a second, but don't forget, hey, you can just comment down below whatever you want. I got something in my throat. I'm sorry, guys. I'm gonna keep doing that during the show, and I know that's annoying. CoinShares pulls plug on select crypto ETFs ahead of U.S. listing. I think this is the one that was going to do the Litecoin ETF. Don't quote me on that, but let's see here. CoinShares filed
filed on Friday to withdraw its plan to launch 3 exchange ETF traded funds as the European cryptocurrency firm plans to focus on higher margin opportunities ahead of the U.S. listing. CoinShares has filed with the SEC to withdraw its registration sentiments for XRP, Solana, and Litecoin. And I was really hoping for a Litecoin. I think that's the reason why Litecoin pumped up. I don't know why Zcash pumped up, but Zcash has fallen quite a bit. Do you guys take profits, by the way, on that? Because I'm just saying. Do you guys take profits while Zcash was making its new all-time high? Let me know. But yeah, so we're not going to get that just yet. But you know, other companies are in the works. CoinShares is just one of them. We'll see how things plan out, but they're probably going to focus on one asset, see how that goes, and then go from there. The company's also winding down its Bitcoin futures leverage, or BTFX.O ETF. The company said it's aiming to introduce new products to the U.S. market over the next 12 to 18 months, including crypto equity exposure vehicles, thematic, oh my god, baskets, and actively managed strategies combining crypto and other assets. In September, CoinShares agreed to list on the NASDAQ through a $1.2 billion merger with a special purpose acquisition company, Vine Hill Capital Investment Corp. Focused on crypto since 2013, CoinShares has around $10 billion in assets under management as of September, with a presence in France, Sweden, UK, and the US. So we'll see what happens with those ETFs. I still believe that there will be a Litecoin ETF eventually, but it's good. So before this recent dip, it was good to see some of the OG proof of work coins doing really good. You know, we had Litecoin climbing and stuff like that. At least in the short term, like nothing compared to December 2024. But it was good to see some of the proof of work tokens just starting to catch back up. Doge, Zcash, while Bitcoin was falling stagnant. But it's nowhere near. If you zoom out, it's nowhere near where we would really like them to be. I mean, I would love to get Doge back up to 50 cents, almost $1. That would be great, but it would be good to for other entities to have some of these vehicles or on-ramps to get other people involved in whatever cryptocurrency they want. I wouldn't say don't make an ETF for every single thing out there, but still. I guess the hobbyist miner did leave because I don't see them responding. All right. Any leaks on Ice River BTC miner specs? Ice River BTC, any leaks? You know what? Hobbyist miner, do you have any, if you're there, do you have anything? Techman, no plans yet for Bitcoin Vegas 2026, but like I said, I'm waiting. I'm trying to get to the end of this year and then kind of figure out my plans, try to get back to some sort of stability for the channel and help out. Lies, he's there. Yeah, Hobbyist is here. Do you know Hobbyist Miner? There was a question by a gentleman or lady, I can't tell because this is online. Were there any leaks about Ice River BTC Miner? That is the question. Do you know anything? Can you share anything? Fiddler is who mentioned it. Any leaks on Ice River BTC Miner specs? If you have a link to it, brother, you're one of the mods. Just drop it in the chat. But good to see you, man. I hope you're doing good. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Like every single one of you, I hope you're having a great holiday. I hope your Christmas is awesome. We got a lot of work to do over here on this side of the pond here in the U.S. And especially down here in Florida. But we're going to get through it. We're going to do it together as a family, as a community, and we'll be just fine. So moving on, Kathy Wood, good old Wood here, predicts crypto liquidity crunch will reverse within weeks. This is what I was talking about. I'm really hoping that December will turn positive. And Fiddler, the Hobbyist Miner responds, no specs, no links yet. So no new information on the Ice River BTC miners. Now, these Bitcoin miners, and Crypto Mikkel could probably speak to this, I've been getting a little bit more efficient, and we needed to, right? I talked about this a while ago with BBT, is that we're increasing hash rate, yes, but we're at the sacrifice of power draw. And we've seen this with all technology, right? We've seen this with CPUs and GPUs as Nvidia and AMD push the limits, is that in order to get this 3% gain in gaming or 5% gain in gaming or 6% gain in compute or 7% gain in AI task, we had to draw more and more power. I mean, the 5090 can suck up to 1,000 watts if you got the right power and your cable doesn't melt. Obviously, most of them are going to be locked in around 600, 650. AMD pushing the limits of their GPU. But again, in order to achieve these performance levels, whether it's hash rate, compute, or gaming, we're having to suck so much juice. And I was talking to BBT Mike, and I really hope you're doing well. If you guys want to share this with him, my concern was we need to become more efficient, and are we on our way to do that? And BBT Mike said yes. There will always be improvements, obviously, moving forward. Obviously, when we're downscaling the size of the chips, what the nanometer scale is. We were at 14 nanometer plus for like years. AMD pushed the envelope with stackable dies and the glue, right? The interposer, but we needed to be more efficient. And so we're seeing more efficient miners hopefully come out into fruition, right? Let's look at Bitcoin, or let's go back to all real quick. Right, so the Bitmain Antminer S23 Hydro 3U, right? This is 1.16 petahash, right? This thing is $7,000. It is 1,100 watts, or 11,000 watts, excuse me. Like, that's insane. You need 3-phase power. You need good baby juice. You need to make sure your shit's in order, because that baby's going to suck. And not in a good way. But you even got a proto rig with 819 terahash, 1,200 watts. So I would like to see these newer machines still try to get close, maybe not 1 petahash, but 800, 600 terahash, whatever, but bringing that power draw back down. I want to see 600, or let's say 500 terahash at 3,400 watts. I want to bring it back down. We need to become more efficient. I know it's cheaper in production, because I talked to some of the companies that build these chips. I know it's cheaper to just use old node styles, right? Instead of using 3 nanometer, they're using 7 nanometer. Instead of using 7 nanometer, they're using 10 nanometer plus or whatever. I know, because the production cost to get on those wafer sizes or to get down to those scales is so much higher that the mining companies would just go and use the next node size up, right? Whether it's 3, 7, or 3, 5, 7, 10, whatever it is. So it's cheaper. They do it that way, but I really would like for us to either be able to advance our technology enough that 3 nanometer could be more cost effective, and that these companies can use that. Can you imagine you guys having a bit axe with one chip that can do basically 50 terahash on that one chip? Could you imagine that? Or and only suck, let's say, 25 watts. Like, we need to make things more efficient, but I understand that the cost to get into that efficiency range is outweighed by the cost of the actual production, or getting even a spot on that assembly for that node class or that node size. But we'd be very interested. We'll see how things go. Kathy Wood predicts crypto liquidity crunch will reverse within weeks. Going back to this conversation, as I said, I'm looking forward to a green December. I see a lot of positive indicators coming our way with the Fed rate cut. Obviously, the holiday. I'm looking forward to some people getting some extra funds in their pocket and being able to gain some exposure to crypto, whether it's through the on-ramps like Cash App, Coinbase, whatever, it doesn't matter. I would prefer those people store their crypto in a hardware wallet that they own the keys to, or a wallet that they own the keys to. But, get it however you can. Coinbase and Cash App allow you to withdraw your Bitcoin or assets to a different wallet address, so you can move it to a hardware wallet at any point in time. But those on-ramps are very, very good. So some positive momentum. We'll see how it shakes out. We're still in November. Let's see how the beginning of December starts out. But Kathy Wood saying, hey, we might see a reverse in weeks. We're already starting to see a small reversal, but can it sustain is the question. Gonna check live chat here in just a minute. New York company halts Bitcoin mining operations as fire breaks out. I don't think we have any pictures of the incident. There it is, right there. So this is in Greenwich, right? Or Greenwich Bitcoin mine in New York forces temporary shutdown. That's a huge fire. What would cause something like this? Well, we just saw that some of these miners, right, are pulling 10,000 plus watts, guys. That's a lot of juice. If you don't have your shit in order, if you're not properly wired, if you're not properly running the correct safety equipment to maintain, if you're not monitoring the power draw of these machines, if you're letting wires melt, cables melt, the heat melt, like, you know, plastic, or affect, you know, maybe you have battery storage on site or whatever, like, you really got to pay attention. So I'm not sure what size this facility was. It was a 106 megawatt site. So that's decent, guys. 106 megawatts is decent. That's pretty big. So hopefully no injuries. You know, that's a big hit for the company, the mining company. I'm sure they would bounce back. How do you even insure something like that? You know what? I need to talk to some of my mining companies and talk about what is the insurance. Can you be insured when you're insuring these products or these facilities? What does that look like? I would really would you guys like that deep dive? I would see if I could get BBT Mike on, or even Crypto Mikkel, who's actually knowledgeable, and Hobbyist Miner knows some of my colleagues as well. So whoever, would you guys be interested in knowing that certain aspect of it? That's kind of more the nuance, I guess, of it. But, you know, if you wanted to have a 5 megawatt facility plus, right, 10, 100, whatever, what does the insurance look like for that? Are you covered? What happens if a fire like this breaks out? Or you're using immersion liquid and there's a giant spill and you have to register with the local, fire department and comply with the regulations in that area, because you do have to register with the EPA and a bunch of other stuff. Like, there's a lot of nuance to that, and I think Mike covered it in some areas if you checked out his videos. But if you're interested in that and I can get that video going for January, I definitely will. But you gotta let me know. Live chat or in the comments. Let me know. The outage, though, hits as hash price sits near $39 per petahash, below many miners break even. So this coming during this downturn is a huge hit to this company, for sure. So any of our brothers and sisters that work for this entity, I am very sorry that this happened. They are using natural gas power, which I don't think this fire is because of the natural gas. Like, maybe it hit a pipe, whatever, because that would have been a huge explosion, not so much a fire. But I don't know. It depends. Yeah, so it was electrical switchgear failure. Exactly what I thought. You're pulling a lot of juice, right? It's supposed to detect an issue. Hey, we're having a problem on XYZ wall sector, and power down and de-energize the entire plant as a safety precaution. But it obviously didn't do it fast enough for it to do anything about it. Interestingly enough, it says it did not damage the mining rigs, and added that it expects to restore full operations in a few weeks, although no timeline has been provided. What? How does a fire that big not impact your mining equipment? There's no way. Unless you had... what? Temporary shutdown. Electrical switchgear fire. Maybe you had no machines over there? Anyways, interesting. That's a huge... If they need to get back up and running if they want to break even. So it's a hit because they need to stay operational in order to keep going. But yeah, we'll see. Bitcoin mining in China rebounds. The Asia market coming back. It's pretty interesting to me. Rudd's getting my attention, saying, but the L3 plus you can put on your own firmware on it. You don't can, but with a L7 or L9. Rudd, you're gonna have to repeat that. I'm lost. I'm lost in translation here. Anybody speak Rudd? I'm joking. Doing some car stuff, by the way. Nothing interesting, by the way, Rudd. Just mostly repairing and fixing. All right, did Hobbyist say something to me? Crypto Mikhail, huge. BBT knows. Yep. Did Hobbyist say something? Hobbyist say something. Okay, no, he's talking. Hammer Miner is world's better. 105 Mega hash at 25 watts. Original Doge was 185 at 233. Hobby Smarter, you want to say numbers? Da, da, da. Okay, price sucks. All right, cool. Y'all are just talking to each other. Read up on chat. Lots of good subjects the last 10 minutes. Okay, all right, here we go. Here we go. If iRiser has anything like Flu Miner, it's going to be nuts. Okay. So, Flu Miner. I thought I just saw it. I thought I just saw a Flu Miner. Flu Miner is who we should have our eyes on. The Flu Miner at L3 dropping in January outperforms the L7's hash rate at 50 watts less. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's efficiency. That's what we need. That's what we need. Let's see here. I thought I just saw the Flu Miner. What the? Stop not showing all, you son of a biscuit. I want to show all. Thank you. Flu Miner L3. And Hobbyist is saying Flu Miner is who we should have our eyes on. Their Flu Miner L3 dropping January. There it is. January 2026. 9.5 gigahash at 1700 watts. Nice. Nice. $6 a day. And the machine's not too bad. You know what? I saw a Flu Miner at Mine Disrupt, not the Texas one, but the one in Fort Lauderdale, and I was intrigued by what they had going on, as well as Volk Miner. But I don't know if Volk Miner's got anything specifically like world breaking that we need to keep an eye on. Interesting. So Hobbyist Miner is saying we should keep an eye on the Flu Miner. What's up, Sloth Squatch? Hope you're doing good. Q2 Ice River BTC miner, Q1 Ice River script miners. So we got Ice River entering the scene. Hobbyist is saying keep an eye on the Flu Miner. Hint, hint. All right. Got some good stuff coming. What was the gentleman? Fiddler, keep an eye out. We still don't have any specs. What is the Flu? Let's go over here real quick. So we know what the price is going to be, but see, let's go 10 cent per kilowatt hour, which I know is not the European one. Its manufacturer is relatively new. Their business verification process remains. I mean, yeah, but we know Flu Miner, so chill out. So all right, $2 a day, and then look at that thing. Hey, it looks like the DG1 Home. It's got a nice form factor. Okay, you can run it sideways. I wonder, can you run it sideways or you can run it standing up or both? 3200 is not bad. I'm going to hit up Jingle Mining. Choose option. January batch. Pre-order. No more pictures than that. They got a nice little screen right here. Let's go up to 15 cent per kilowatt hour. Pool fee, 1%. Calculate. So with the cost of my electricity, not so much. But you can use Mining Dutch and gain some other exposure. I mean, let's drop that 15. Let's say 0.8 cents per kilowatt hour. Yeah, so $1.44 a day. Payback period 74 months. But if you're running on renewables or you're not paying any electricity, that's a different story. $4 a day. But this is now with Doge down, with Litecoin down. Imagine if they start to climb up. That's going to be a different story. But I like the efficiency. Look at that. Almost 10 gigahash of 1700 watts. The Apex DG1S is 10 gigahash, but almost double the power. Almost. That's very good. That's very good. I think that's a better node process. I think that's like these might all be on 10 nanometer and Flu Miner's probably on 7 or something like that. But that's what these companies need to do. Volk Miner's got 20 gigahash at 3580 watts. Interesting. So yeah, Hobbyist is saying there's some good stuff coming. keep an eye out for Q1, Q2 Ice River. Might be dropping some good stuff, so keep an eye out. Thank you to hobbyists. Pretty good. Pretty good stuff. Next in mining India. T3 and L3 going to be slick. Oh, next in mining. What's up? How you guys doing? I love your stuff. Keep pumping it. Appreciate you. These gentlemen, I met them at one of the Mining Disrupt events. Oh my God. Hilarious. Hilarious. I love this community. I fucking love this community. You can tell I got more positive vibes. You know, things are leveling off. Uncle's doing better. Dad's doing better. Shit's getting done. Just need to get back into the rhythm of making content for you guys on a regular. I appreciate your patience. I thank you so much. Let's wrap up this show because we got Red Panda Mining coming up next here in about 7 minutes. But yeah, Bitcoin mining in China rebounds. Next in mining, how's mining over there? How's mining on your side of the pond? My T3 will come by December, and you'll probably have it earlier. Question mark. Oh, he's talking to hobbyists. Sweet. Good stuff. This is what we need, guys. This is what we need. We need the machines to become more efficient. We need them to become more efficient, and that's exactly what I was talking about, and Hobbyist Miner just pointed to it. Flu Miner L3. Look at that. 9.5 gigahash, 1700 watts. But again, like, we've been dealing with this with Locotech, right? Locotech's been developing, and we talked about how hard and how cost restrictive or like the buy-in to be able to get on a certain process node is for a company, and especially a small company, to get in on the 3 nanometer line versus a 10 nanometer or 7 nanometer is so much harder and so much cost restrictive. And the barrier to entry is so high that a small company has a very, very hard time. But if we could get these companies to, you know, downscale the nodes and make it more efficient. I want to see our ASICs back down to 3400. I do not want you, the at-home miner, right, filling up all your fucking breakers, panels, and everything, and stuff like that with 30 amp breakers, pulling the maximum amount of energy that you can through those fucking breakers and risk your house, your loved ones, or anything like that because you're pushing 7,000 watts or 7,500 watts or 10,000 watts. I don't want that. I want us to become, you know, obviously large scale operations, they can handle that no problem. Obviously not the one in New York that we just saw because that shit caught fire. But all, you know, the at-home miners, I want to see, you know, 500 terahash for Bitcoin mining at 3,400 watts or 3,600 watts. I want to see, you know, 10 gigahash for Doge and Litecoin mining at 1,700 watts, 1,500 watts. I want to see improvements in efficiency for our rigs, whether they're large scale or at home, and I think that would be huge. Fool's eyes ASICs aren't built for home miners. We as home miners are trying to make a round peg fit in a square hole all the time. All the time. That's all we do. We hammer it until it goes in. You know, we had a fire here with the fog hashing C2, right? And I actually need to do some work on that. They sent me a new tank. All the development and all the issues that we had with the C2 or the C1 has been communicated with fog hashing, which had then improved their designs and their engineering, thus giving you guys a better product. And that's how it works, right? It goes out to Hobbyist Miner. It goes out to myself. It goes out to Red Panda Mining. It goes out to Red Fox. They see issues, they call it out in their review or discuss internally with the company, and then they either fix it or they don't. And when they're not transparent, when the company's not transparent, we push back or we make an announcement. You guys give them shit, and then they have to make some adjustments, or they don't care about it, and then we just don't use their products. So you got to keep pushing back on stuff like that, but you also got to keep tweaking and innovating. And Fog Hatching already sent me some upgrades for the C2 that they have done for your current models that you would receive at home. I haven't applied it yet, but definitely need to do it. But this goes back to at-home mining. Yes, in order for me to mine with my Bitcoin ASICs, I'm having to use immersion tanks to do so. I don't have a shed like the hobbyist miner, even though the wife told me I should have bought one, but whatever. She was right, I was wrong. And I just had to downscale some things because the cost of electricity here at my house was just eating me alive. This is where hosting comes in, or having your own facility, or buying your own location, or off-site mining, whatever comes into play. Because at-home mining with large-scale ASICs is not ideal. It can be done. It's not ideal, but it can be done. Whereas, you know, your Nerd Axes, your Flu Miner, L3s are ideal. Your DG1 homes, you know, these smaller scale miners that you know, basically very quiet and soothing, and or that help heat the house but not drive the wife crazy, or your spouse crazy, or the dog crazy because you got like a jet in your freaking living room, are good for the at-home location. Not so much the ASICs, but still, I love to dabble. I love to dabble. The Dutch. The Dutch makes the best chip, says Ruds. Installing 2 times C2s in 2 weeks. Nice. Good. Congrats, man. Yeah, Fog Hashing is one of my favorite companies to work with. If I had a shed, I would get the six one, the 6 ASIC one, but I'm good. I'm just gonna stay small scale and then keep advancing. I do need to upgrade the S19K Pros to a more efficient ASIC, but we'll cross that bridge at a later date and time. But good news all around as we get ready for Red Panda mining. Bitcoin mining in China rebounds. We got the Fed more than likely going to cut rates in December. We have positive momentum behind us as far as Bitcoin goes. I do think there's some manipulation there at the high end where these companies are trying to suppress Bitcoin because they're not ready for it to climb to new all-time highs, as they're trying to accumulate as much as possible, which is why you, the end user, should advance your position if you can within feasibility, not financial advice. Don't spend money that you don't have, and do not use credit to make huge gambles, even though some of you guys go to casinos. But if you can accumulate bit by bit over time, whether that's through mining, whether that's through buying, whether that's through dollar cost averaging, whatever it is, all the indicators that we have been getting this entire time have been positive. It's just the market is not recuperating or whatever, reciprocating that positive momentum, right? Clearer regulations, clearer rules, friendlier environments, you know, Fed rate cut. Then we need continued improvements in ETF inflows, as well as retail getting hyped up about Bitcoin. So I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, a great holiday. I hope you continue to have a great holiday. We still got all of Christmas to go through. Not sure if you answered any of the questions I asked earlier in the live stream, but I appreciate every single one of you. If you did or didn't, doesn't matter. I will get you guys an update. The next update is probably going to be a car-related update. I know that's not crypto-related, but just something that I'm having to do because you'll see. So I'll keep you in suspense about that. And then again, hopefully I could get back onto the scene in Q1. I mean, I'm here. I'm still making content, but one live stream a week is not going to cut it. So I want to continue to bring you guys content. I just haven't had the one time and two the assets or finances to buy new equipment and show you XYZ. And a lot of the manufacturers that would work with a content creator are not working with this channel specifically, but that's fine, right? That's where my colleagues come in. They bring you great reviews, great insight, great, feedback, or, calling out shit that they see that needs to be fixed. So I challenge you and my colleagues to always push the envelope and be objective and make sure that we're holding people accountable, including ourselves. If I say something wrong, let me know. Let's be diplomatic about it. Let's be adults. But let me know. Let me correct it. We'll keep it moving forward. But definitely back into the positive vibe section. I appreciate you guys hanging tight with me through that. So Red Panda Mining is about to go live. Let's see if they are ready, and I will send you guys on over there. Hobbyist Miner, I appreciate all the insight that you dropped and all the little nuggets of information that was dropped in today's live stream. That's very appreciative. I'm so stoked that Next in Mining stopped by. Guys, Hitting the gym lately? No, 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 no. Uh, more like working on automotive cars, so jacking up the car a lot, making some changes, adjustments, fixing stuff. But yeah, it's just basic, like, what do you call it? Um, what's the, oh my goodness, handyman stuff, basic handyman stuff for my family, my parents, my uncle, stuff like that. Definitely putting the gut on too. But anyways, Red Panda Mining is live. Make sure to hit that like button, guys. Please do me a favor and check out any future videos that are coming in the future, whether it's car related and you're not a car guy or car girl, crypto related. Just stay tuned. I appreciate every single one of you. Happy belated Thanksgiving. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. May all the gifts be exactly what you want. And you just take care of yourselves, all right? All right, hit that like button on the way out. Don't forget to get subscribed if you're new. Hit the notification bell to stay up to date on what's going on. And I'll catch you guys later on. All right? Take care.